Welcome everyone. This isn't merely another video in your feed. This is the very video I desperately wish someone had made for me when I found myself lost, financially broken, utterly confused, simmering with anger, and profoundly weary of witnessing everyone else's triumphs, while I constantly questioned myself, what on earth am I doing wrong? Why does money always seem to slip through my fingers? Why am I working tirelessly yet still struggling to make ends meet? Allow me to share with you a truth few dare to utter. Honestly, the prevailing system is fundamentally not engineered to make you rich. Instead, it is meticulously crafted to keep you perpetually busy, strategically distracted, deeply insecure, and perpetually broke. Its ultimate aim? To ensure you remain a lifelong customer, forever consuming. And here's the unvarnished reality. No one is stepping in to educate you about money. Not your schools, not your colleges, not even your own parents. For they, too, were never truly taught. That is precisely why this video matters so profoundly, because today, we shatter this oppressive cycle. Today, you cease being a passive victim of the money game and begin orchestrating your financial future with mastery. This isn't about conjuring overnight riches. It's not about embracing some superficial hustle culture or chasing fleeting Lamborghini dreams. This delves into something profoundly more significant, deciphering the true mechanics of how money actually works, so that no matter your birthplace, your academic background, or how financially depleted you feel right now, you will finally learn how to reclaim absolute command over your financial life. No shortcuts, no sugarcoating, just 12 unflinchingly honest, deeply powerful, and emotionally real rules about money that will fundamentally transform how you think, how you live, and how you meticulously build your future. This isn't just a video, this is war. A war between the version of you who remains shackled by financial bewilderment, and the version of you who finally understands it, building an existence of unparalleled financial freedom and prosperity that others only dream of. Now, let's begin. Rule 1. Money is a tool, not the goal. If you were to ask most people what they truly desire in life, their immediate response would likely be, I want money. But here's the crucial question. Why? What precisely do you intend to do with it? You see, money itself is nothing more than mere paper or fleeting digits on a screen. Its inherent power is unleashed only when you wield it to create time, to procure freedom, to safeguard your health, to fuel your dreams, to meticulously construct the life you envision. Yet here lies the pervasive trap. When individuals fail to grasp the true nature of money, they pursue it relentlessly, yet aimlessly. They gravitate towards jobs they despise. They launch businesses they have no passion for. They exhaust themselves, compromise their integrity, sacrifice their well-being, and extinguish their joy, all in a desperate bid to earn more. But even after they achieve greater earnings, a profound emptiness often persists. They acquire a larger house, yet domestic discord remains. They purchase a luxury car, yet the hollow ache of loneliness endures. They garner likes on Instagram, but still cry silently in the solitude of night. Because money was never, in fact, the ultimate objective. The true goal was always serenity, autonomy, mastery of your precious time, the liberating ability to decline, the opportunity to support your beloved family, to nurture yourself, and to live life entirely on your own terms. That is the true purpose of money. It is not a trophy to be displayed. It is not merely a number to be accumulated. It is not about simply looking rich. It is a potent weapon, a liberating key, a protective shield. And if you fail to comprehend its true essence, you will either misuse it disastrously or, worse, permit others to exploit it to control you. Allow me to provide a concrete example. Imagine two individuals. Person A earns $100,000 a year. He possesses a sprawling house, 2 cars, a cutting-edge smartwatch, and an extensive wardrobe of expensive clothes. However, he is buried under a mountain of debt. He labors 12 hours a day, feels perpetually tired and stressed, and cannot afford to take even a single month off. Should he lose his job, his carefully constructed facade would crumble entirely. Person B, in stark contrast, earns $30,000 a year. He resides in a modest apartment. He doesn't adorn himself with luxury brands, yet he is completely unburdened by debt. He diligently invests every single month. He works from the comfort of his home, travels when his heart desires, devours books, and rests with a clear conscience, sleeping peacefully each night. And most importantly, he is the undeniable master of his own destiny. Now tell me, who among them is genuinely affluent? That, my friends, is the profound distinction between chasing money blindly and deploying money wisely. Therefore, always remember this fundamental rule. Money is not your tyrannical master. It is your loyal servant. Use it to cultivate profound inner peace, not merely accumulate material possessions. Because when you finally grasp this truth, your entire relationship with money will be irrevocably transformed forever. Rule 2, you don't need to be rich to learn about money. Here's another perilous misconception that sabotages countless futures. The deceptive thought, I'll learn about money later once I start earning more. No, that, my friend, is a surefire path to remaining perpetually broke. Because money doesn't simply respond to the quantity you earn, it bends to the wisdom with which you wield it. Consider this. If someone were to hand you $10,000 today, yet you had never acquired the skills to manage money effectively, that sum would likely evaporate within mere months. You'd acquire superfluous items you don't truly need. You'd try to impress people who couldn't care less. You'd fall prey to the insidious snares of high-interest credit card debt, misguided investments, charlatan financial advisors, and the relentless pull of lifestyle inflation. And before you know it, you'd be back at zero, or even worse, mired in debt. That's the inevitable outcome of delaying your financial education. Let me tell you an unvarnished and undeniable truth. The absolute best time to learn about money is when you have none. Because that's when you are humble. That's when you are hungry. That's when every single dollar holds significant weight. You don't require millions to delve into the principles of compound interest. You don't need a lavish salary to master the art of saving. You don't need existing wealth to comprehend the intricate process of wealth building. You simply need to commit to starting today. Read insightful books. Watch free educational videos. Understand the operational mechanisms of banks. Grasp the concept of inflation. Recognize how debt traps function. Learn effective budgeting strategies. Practice disciplined saving. Meticulously track your spending. Because when the money does inevitably come, and it will, you'll be thoroughly prepared. You'll safeguard it, cultivate its growth, exponentially multiply its power, and deploy it with profound intentionality. Allow me to share an illuminating example. A modest boy earns $300 a month, yet he faithfully saves $30. He dedicates himself to reading one money-related book every month. He diligently learns how to budget, how to build credit, and how the magic of compound interest works. He begins investing small amounts, educates himself on tax principles, consciously avoids detrimental debt, and consistently lives below his means. 10 years later, he achieves remarkable financial stability. Meanwhile, individuals earning 5 times his initial salary are still trapped in the relentless cycle of living paycheck to paycheck. How? Because he understood money before he earned more. So please, internalize this. Don't wait for more money to start learning about money. Learn now, and greater wealth will flow into your life and remain firmly within your grasp. This one profound rule can irrevocably change your destiny. Rule 3. Time is more powerful than money. Most people mistakenly believe that the secret to building substantial wealth lies solely in earning more money. Wrong. The real secret is profoundly understanding the inexorable power of time. Because time is the sole irreplaceable currency in existence. The one thing you absolutely cannot buy, borrow, beg, or steal. Here's the truth. Time is the ultimate differentiator that separates the truly rich from the perpetually poor. Not innate talent, not a prestigious education, not even sheer hard work alone. Allow me to elucidate. There exists a phenomenon called compound growth, the undisputed titan of financial forces in the world. It signifies this. If you plant a seed today, diligently water it, and patiently wait, it doesn't just mature into a single tree. It produces more seeds, which in turn grow into even more trees. And those trees yield abundant fruit. And that fruit creates further seeds. That's the organic, exponential way money truly grows. Not by acquiring massive sums initially, but by initiating the process early and allowing the inexorable power of time to perform the profound transformation. Let's consider two friends. Alex commences investing at the tender age of 20. He consistently allocates $100 every month into a simple index fund. Nothing elaborate, just a consistent $100 per month. He maintains this discipline until he reaches 30. That's a total of 10 years, amounting to $12,000 in personal contributions. Ben, on the other hand, starts at age 30. He also invests $100 per month, but he continues this practice until he is 60. That's 30 years, totaling $36,000 in personal contributions. Now guess what astonishing outcome occurs? Even though Alex invested for a mere 10 years and Ben for a full 30 years, Alex ultimately ends up with more money. Why? Because he afforded his money a significantly longer duration to grow and multiply. That's the astonishing, almost brutal magic of compound interest. Your initial capital earns interest. Then that earned interest itself begins to earn interest. And subsequently, the interest generated from that interest earns even more interest. And soon, it accelerates with the unstoppable momentum of a snowball gathering mass as it hurtles down a mountain. However, most people fail to grasp this fundamental principle. They rationalize, I'm young. I'll start saving later. I'll invest once I earn more. I'll contemplate my financial future when I'm older. And by the time they finally decide to begin, it's irreversibly late. They have squandered the singular, irreplaceable asset, time. So allow me to articulate this as unequivocally as possible. Start now, even if it's just a paltry $5. Even if it's merely setting aside spare change in a jar. Even if it feels insignificant, even if it doesn't resemble real money. Because the essence lies not in the magnitude of the amount, but in the timeliness of the action. And when you embark on this journey early, time becomes your most powerful ally. But if you procrastinate, time inevitably transforms into your most unforgiving adversary. Here's what no one explicitly tells you every single day you delay. Every week you declare, I'll do it next month. Every year you assert, I'll start when I earn more. You are, in essence, burning money. Not merely spending it, but actively incinerating it. The wealth that could have been rightfully yours is rapidly dissipating into the coffers of those who had the foresight to begin sooner. So if you are watching this right now, consider this your urgent alarm clock. This is your invaluable second chance. Don't wait for someday. Someday unequivocally is not a day of the week. Start now because time is your most invaluable currency, and once it is gone, it never, ever returns. Rule 4. Control money or it will control you. Allow me to pose a serious question. Do you know with absolute certainty where every single dollar, every rupee, every pound of your income goes each month? Do you meticulously track its destination, or does it mysteriously disappear without a trace? If you fail to exert control over your money, it will insidiously, almost imperceptibly, yet profoundly dangerously, begin to dictate the terms of your entire life. Here's a clear picture of what unfolds when you relinquish control over your finances. You find yourself perpetually teetering on the edge of financial precariousness, living paycheck to paycheck, even with a seemingly decent salary. You are gripped by panic when an unexpected emergency arises. You avert your gaze from your bank statement, paralyzed by dread. You acquiesce to purchasing things you genuinely cannot afford, simply to sidestep perceived judgment. You resort to borrowing from credit cards or friends merely to survive. You feel constantly tired, stressed, and ashamed, like a prisoner bound by unseen, yet utterly binding chains. And slowly, money usurps your autonomy, becoming your master. You no longer decide what you aspire to do in life. Your mounting bills do. You cannot simply quit a toxic job. Your rent vehemently disallows it. You cannot travel, dream, or embark on meaningful risks because money, in its insidious grasp, holds the remote control of your life. But here's the liberating truth. You were destined for profound freedom. Not to be shackled by numbers, not to be paralyzed by fear of money, not to be a slave to your own expenses. You do not need to be rich to reclaim this control. You simply need to do one decisive thing. Direct its trajectory with unwavering intention rather than passively observing its disappearance. That crucial act is called budgeting. However, most people scorn the very notion of it. They perceive it as boring, or worse, exclusively for financially struggling individuals. Wrong. Budgeting is not an oppressive restriction. It is an empowering liberation. It is the definitive method by which you seize back control. It is how you emphatically declare, "This is my money. I worked diligently for it, and now I dictate its service to my highest goals." Imagine you receive $500 this month, and you neglect to plan its allocation. You impulsively buy food, coffee, clothes, order takeout, scroll endlessly on Amazon, lend a friend some money, swipe your card for movies. By the end of the month, you discover a paltry $4 remaining. You are consumed by guilt. You utter, "Where did it all go?" You become stressed, and you perpetuate this disheartening cycle. Now imagine the very same $500, but this time you meticulously plan every single dollar. Rent, $150. Food, $100. Transport, $50. Savings, $50. Emergency fund, $30. Fund money, $50. Education, $20. Miscellaneous, $50. Now each dollar is meticulously allocated, imbued with a specific purpose. You still savor life's pleasures, but with a profound sense of control. And most importantly, you no longer feel lost. You feel empowered, serene, lucid, and utterly self-assured. Because you are the boss, not the victim. So remember this profound truth. Money craves clarity. Money adheres to order. Money thrives under discipline. The precise moment you cease treating money like an enigmatic mystery and begin treating it like a well-structured plan, it starts working tirelessly for you. Because money presents only two options. Either you command it, or it will inevitably command you. And I promise you, life is infinitely more fulfilling when you are the undeniable commander. Rule 5. Avoid looking rich. Focus on becoming rich. There's an unseen, yet ferocious battle raging, and most individuals are suffering defeat without even perceiving the conflict. Not because they are inherently lazy, nor because they are simply unlucky, but because they are expending their precious resources on the facade of wealth rather than its authentic accumulation. The world today is enslaved by the allure of superficial appearances. A 22-year-old scrolls through Instagram, encounters someone her age in Dubai sipping champagne and clutching a designer bag, and immediately feels she is languishing in a state of perceived inadequacy. A man in his 30s experiences profound embarrassment pulling up in his old car while his friend just leased a brand new BMW. So what does he do? He upgrades too, even if it means plunging into a quagmire of burgeoning debt, pervasive stress, and relentless pretense. This, precisely, is how the world ensnares you. It peddles the intoxicating illusion of attainment, causing you to spend your real, hard-earned money to appear as if you possess more than you do. And in doing so, you irrevocably forfeit the ultimate financial game. Allow me to provide an example that will truly open your eyes. There are essentially two types of rich people. Firstly, there are the ostentatious yet financially fragile rich. These individuals flaunt luxury brands, parade lavish vacations, meticulously post every meal, and engage in extravagant boasts. But behind the scenes, they are entombed beneath an avalanche of credit card debt. They are emotionally exhausted, spiritually depleted. They don't rest peacefully at night. And should they lose their job, their carefully constructed image shatters into a million pieces. Why? Because they are rich on the outside but profoundly poor on the inside. Secondly, there are the discreetly, genuinely affluent rich. They drive simple, unassuming cars, wear regular, practical clothes, and prefer to dine at home. No flashy gold chains, no boasting, no overt flexing. But behind the scenes, they possess a formidable fortress of savings, strategic investments, unwavering freedom, profound peace, and intrinsic power. If a crisis emerges, they don't panic. They effortlessly cover the expense. If they lose a client, they don't break down. They have a diversified portfolio of robust income streams. They are rich on the inside. Even if they present a simple exterior, that, my friend, is precisely who you aspire to become. Looking rich is deceptively easy. Simply buy things you cannot genuinely afford. Utilize money you do not possess. And dazzle those whose opinions hold no genuine weight. But real, enduring wealth that demands unyielding discipline, profound sacrifice, far-sighted strategic thinking, discreet maneuvers, and years of resolute self-denial against fleeting temptations. Here's the real, undeniable truth. The people who look the richest often possess the shallowest financial foundations, and conversely, the individuals who appear the simplest often possess the most profound financial fortitude. Allow me to make it even clearer. Real success is when you feel no compulsion to validate your worth to anyone. Real power is walking into a room and possessing the means to acquire anything, yet exercising the wisdom to acquire nothing. Real freedom is the profound ability to say no, not yes. Real wealth is unshakable serenity, not fleeting digital validation. So honestly ask yourself, are you spending your resources to look successful or to genuinely build success? Are you attempting to impress others or striving for personal growth? Are you merely looking rich or actively becoming rich? Because if you relentlessly pursue superficial appearances, you are condemned to perpetual financial barrenness. But if you devote yourself to the pursuit of profound wisdom, unyielding patience, and discreet yet potent growth, you will construct an existence whose richness transcends the narrow confines of any camera lens. And that, my friend, is where real wealth truly resides. Rule 6. Spend less than you earn no matter what. This is the oldest, the simplest, and arguably the most universally disregarded principle in finance. Yet it is the bedrock upon which all financial prosperity is built. If you consistently violate this rule, no amount of innate talent, burning ambition, or sheer luck will ultimately salvage you. But if you diligently live by it, even if your earnings are modest, you will ultimately emerge victorious in the grand financial game. Here is the immutable rule: spend less than you earn, always. No matter how little you currently accrue, no matter how expansive your dreams may be. Because if you fail to adhere to this, you are perpetually running in reverse on a futile treadmill. Imagine two individuals. Person A earns $5,000 a month and consistently expends $5,500. Person B earns $200 a month and spends only $1,000. Now, most people would exclaim, "Wow, person A is earning greatly." But look closely. Person A is actually digging themselves into a deeper financial abyss every single month. They are consistently creating a deficit. Person B, conversely, is steadily moving forward, even if slowly. They are consistently creating a surplus. One is building a financial hole. The other is erecting a fortress of financial security. One is forging their own financial shackles. The other is crafting the very essence of their future freedom. It truly does not matter how much you earn. What solely matters is how much you manage to retain. You don't become genuinely rich simply by earning more. You become rich by retaining a greater portion of what you earn and strategically deploying it for exponential growth. Let me delve even deeper into this. Most people mistakenly believe their primary financial challenge is insufficient income, but 80% of the time it is, in fact, an issue of uncontrolled spending. They receive a raise and immediately elevate their entire lifestyle. They earn a bonus and promptly acquire new clothes, new gadgets, new furniture. And when the inevitable next emergency strikes, they are plunged back into financial destitution. Why? Because they never cultivated the invaluable discipline of living below their true financial capacity. This rule is not about embracing a life of poverty. It is about embodying profound financial sagacity. It is about consciously controlling your lifestyle so that you do not become enslaved by its insatiable demands. You know what's even more dangerous than genuine poverty? Illusory wealth. The kind that keeps you smiling superficially on the outside while silently weeping in the solitude of night on the inside. Here's a genuine challenge for you. Irrespective of your current income, commit this promise to yourself. I will always save something, even if it's just $1. I will never expend 100% of my income. I will clearly delineate between my wants and my true needs. I will cultivate the profound habit of retention before ever aspiring to greater acquisition. Because this, precisely, is the habit that constructs millionaires. Not a massive salary, not a lucky business venture, but the uncomplicated, yet immensely powerful decision to consistently expend less than you accrue every single month. And if you find yourself thinking, but I'm not earning enough to save, let me tell you the unflinching truth. If you cannot save $10 out of $100, you will not save $1,000 out of $10,000. Because the essence of saving lies not in the magnitude of your income, but in the unwavering strength of your discipline. So build that discipline now, even with modest amounts. Because if you can control the small money, one day you will be entrusted with far greater sums. And when that day inevitably comes, you'll look back and declare, this one profound habit saved my life. Rule 7, make your money work for you or you'll work for money forever. This rule represents the stark demarcation between ultimate freedom and perpetual servitude. Because here's the hard truth nobody wants to say out loud. If your sole source of income is directly tied to your time, then you are not truly liberated. You are, in essence, enslaved. Allow me to explain why. Most people simply exchange their finite time for pecuniary gain. They labor for 8 hours and they receive payment. Should they cease working, the money also ceases to flow. But time, crucially, is limited. You are only allotted 24 hours in a day. So what inevitably happens? You work harder, you work longer, you relinquish precious weekends. You repress your deepest aspirations, neglect your beloved family, and compromise your vital health merely to earn enough to survive. That is not a life lived. It is merely an existence endured. And you cannot escape this insidious trap until you fully grasp one profound, life-transforming principle. Your capital itself must also actively labor just as you do. Your money should be dispatched into the global economy like a diligent employee, returning to you laden with amplified returns. If you earn $1,000, and that represents the entirety of your financial activity, you will always remain stuck. But if you earn $1,000 and strategically invest $200 of it wisely, then that $200 begins to grow. It starts earning interest. It starts generating income entirely independent of your active physical engagement, your limited time, or your manual labor. That, my friend, is called passive income. And it is precisely how genuine, sustainable wealth is constructed. Imagine two people again. But this time, their situations are not judged based on salary alone. Sarah works diligently as a teacher. Every month, she conscientiously saves a little and acquires income-generating dividend stocks. She doesn't understand every single nuance, but she learns slowly and persistently. After 5 years, her investments begin to yield her $150 per month. That $150 comfortably covers her electricity bill. She continues her consistent investing. 10 years later, her investments now cover half of her rent. 15 years later, she achieves complete financial independence, no longer needing to work. Jason, on the other hand, earns double Sarah's salary, but he never invests a single penny. He indulges in a more extravagant lifestyle, dines out frequently, acquires the newest technology, and drives a freshly leased vehicle. He looks successful, but he is condemned to keep working forever. If he stops, his income ends. If he falls ill, he has nothing to fall back on. Sarah now possesses abundant time. Jason, conversely, is shackled by financial obligations. Why? Because Sarah made her money work tirelessly for her. Jason only worked tirelessly himself. Understand this deeply. Wealth is not about simply working harder. It is about building revenue streams that flow autonomously, independent of your direct involvement. Your ultimate goal should be this: I want to generate income while I am at rest, while incapacitated, while exploring the world, while nurturing familial bonds throughout every moment of my existence. And to achieve that, you absolutely must invest. Invest in diversified assets, robust stocks, stable bonds, and strategic real estate. Invest in valuable skills that yield recurring dividends. Invest in enterprises that flourish even in your absence. Invest in knowledge that teaches you how to multiply wealth. Even if your initial contributions are small, it doesn't matter. Start precisely where you are. Learn as you progress. Because every dollar you successfully make work for you is a tangible stride towards ultimate financial liberation. So remember this profound rule for life. If you fail to make your money work tirelessly for you, you will keep laboring relentlessly like a tireless machine until your physical form inevitably succumbs. And by then, it will be tragically too late. Build now, grow now, invest now, so that one glorious day, your wealth actively labors on your behalf, while you yourself enjoy unbridled freedom. Rule 8. Debt can be a trap unless you learn to master it. This rule is particularly perilous because when individuals misunderstand its complexities, they either remain perpetually poor or they irrevocably destroy their future. Let's delve deeper. Most people are living under the oppressive, unspoken burden of debt. Not the kind of debt that strategically builds wealth, but the insidious variety that devours it. We're talking about mounting credit card bills, the allure of buy now, pay later schemes, the temptation of luxury phones on installment plans, EMIs, the deceptive ease of instant loans, superficial lifestyle upgrades, and impulsive peer pressure acquisitions. They delude themselves into thinking they are living well, but what they are genuinely doing is mortgaging their future prosperity to finance their fleeting present. Allow me to reiterate that crucial point. They are sacrificing their future tranquility for immediate, often ephemeral gratification. And that, unequivocally, is the most ruinously expensive transaction you will ever engage in. Imagine you borrow $2,000 to acquire a new laptop, some trendy clothes, and take a small, enjoyable vacation. This loan carries a 20% interest rate. Now, you don't just owe $2,000, you actually owe $2,400. And that's only if you manage to pay it off swiftly. If you delay your payments, you will owe substantially more. Late fees accumulate rapidly, interest compounds relentlessly, and suddenly that fun $2,000 decision morphs into years of debilitating stress, agonizing sleepless nights, and relentless pursuit by creditors, all because of one critical misstep. You employed debt for fleeting self-gratification rather than for strategic growth. Here's the stark truth that financially struggling individuals often fail to grasp. Detrimental debt is for spending. Prudent debt is for growing. Detrimental debt extracts wealth from your grasp. Prudent debt, conversely, generates returns. Allow me to illustrate the distinction. Purchasing a television with a loan clearly constitutes detrimental debt. Acquiring an income-generating rental property with a loan that consistently produces monthly rental income, however, constitutes advantageous debt. Swiping your credit card to buy a new pair of shoes equals detrimental debt. Using a business loan to launching a product that generates profit, however, can be considered good debt. One might give you the appearance of wealth while leaving you feeling vulnerable. The other allows you to maintain a humble exterior as you steadily accumulate true strength. Therefore, keep this vital truth in mind. If you currently find yourself burdened by debt, it is never too late to reverse course. You possess the ability to reclaim control. Immediately cease accumulating more debt. Adding fuel to a fire only makes matters worse. Instead, meticulously craft a clear and actionable repayment plan. Understand that each dollar you successfully pay off represents a step closer to genuine financial freedom. Ruthlessly eliminate all unnecessary expenses. This temporary sacrifice, though perhaps uncomfortable, is the direct pathway to lasting peace of mind. Begin immediately to build a modest emergency fund, ensuring you have a safety net so you never again find yourself trapped by debt. Above all else, fundamentally transform your beliefs about money. Your past mistakes do not define you as weak. Rather, your willingness to change demonstrates immense power. Debt is merely a temporary circumstance, a challenge you face, not an indelible part of who you are. You can absolutely overcome it by ceasing to avoid the problem and instead, proactively taking charge of your financial narrative. And for those who have not yet succumbed to debt, exercise extreme vigilance. Debt rarely begins as a monumental burden. Rather, it often originates from seemingly insignificant actions: a modest loan, a casual swipe of a credit card, a fleeting thought of "I deserve this." These seemingly innocuous steps can slowly but surely transform you into an individual who owes everyone, yet possesses nothing of true value. However, if you diligently learn to master the principles of debt, you can leverage it as a powerful ladder to ascension, not a cunning trap. You will borrow with a specific, well-defined purpose. You will invest with absolute clarity of vision. You will cultivate your growth with unwavering discipline. This astute approach is precisely how you transform what could be the most dangerous financial weapon into your most potent tool for prosperity. Rule 9. Money thrives in silence. Unnecessary noise destroys wealth. This particular rule delves profoundly into the intricate psychology that underpins true wealth accumulation. Here's its core message. If you incessantly boast about your finances, flaunt your assets, or constantly seek validation and applause related to money, you will invariably fail to build genuine, substantial wealth. This is because real money, true wealth, is not inherently loud, ostentatious, or attention-seeking. Instead, authentic wealth is characterized by quiet discretion, unwavering focus, protected privacy, shrewd strategy, and often, an invisible presence. Allow me to elaborate. In our contemporary world, nearly every aspect of life has transformed into a public performance. People no longer simply enjoy a meal. They meticulously photograph and post it online. They don't just acquire a new vehicle, they record the act of receiving the keys. They don't merely achieve success, they preemptively announce it, sometimes even before it materializes. What drives this pervasive behavior? It stems from a profound desire for external validation, a craving for attention, and an eagerness to be perceived as successful in having made it. However, this very behavior carries a significant hidden cost. The more intensely you chase external approval, the more severely you undermine your own genuine progress, because the pursuit of such validation is inherently costly. It compels you to purchase things you cannot genuinely afford. You find yourself merely discussing grand ideas rather than diligently executing them. Your focus shifts to how others perceive you, rather than diligently monitoring and cultivating the growth of your own financial assets. This inevitably creates a detrimental, toxic loop. Each time you achieve the success, you immediately announce it, subsequently feeling immense pressure to maintain that carefully constructed image. Consequently, you cease genuine learning, stop consistent saving, and instead begin merely performing for an audience, a path that ultimately leads to burnout and collapse. Consider two individuals embarking on the journey of building a business. The first person meticulously announces every small victory online, publicly discusses every new client acquisition, purchases extravagant new attire, and leases a luxurious office space primarily for branding purposes. He gains a substantial following and receives a torrent of applause. Yet behind this carefully constructed facade, his actual profits are steadily dwindling. He eventually experiences severe burnout, and his true business growth stagnates completely. The second person, in stark contrast, maintains complete discretion. She operates diligently in quiet solitude, keeps her operational expenses meticulously low, saves every possible penny, and reinvests her earnings discreetly. She builds a robust professional network without any need for ostentatious displays or flexing. 3 years later, her success emerges so quietly that virtually no one anticipated it. She achieves complete financial independence, while the first individual, ironically, finds himself steeped in debt. The undeniable reason? Because true wealth accumulates most effectively in silence. Herein lies a profound and often overlooked truth. The more energy you expend on merely being perceived as successful, the more you inadvertently postpone the arduous journey of actually becoming successful. Therefore, cease the incessant need to explain your every move. Refrain from publicly sharing every single step of your journey. Abandon the futile endeavor of trying to impress those who truthfully do not genuinely care. Instead, cultivate an inner sense of accomplishment. Impress yourself in the quiet solitude of your own efforts. Allow your tangible, long-term results to speak volumes after 5 years, rather than relying on ephemeral social media posts after 5 days. Diligently protect your precious energy, safeguard your ambitious goals, preserve your inner peace. True wealth flourishes most effectively in quiet, unassuming environments. In the focused hours of late nights and long mornings, in the simplicity of modest attire, amidst minimal external distractions. So from this very day forward, adopt this as your unwavering rule. Build your foundations in silence. Execute your strategies in silence. Cultivate your growth in silence. And only when your enduring achievements are undeniable, let the profound impact of your life generate all the necessary noise. This is the bedrock mindset that constructs a type of wealth that is intrinsically yours, impervious to being taken away. Rule 10. Never rely on a single source of income. To do so is tantamount to financial suicide. This isn't merely a suggestion or an optional guideline. It is an absolute prerequisite for financial survival. To depend solely on a single income stream is akin to attempting to stand on one leg during a severe earthquake. The instant the ground begins to tremble, you are destined to fall. Allow me to elucidate this crucial point in detail. The vast majority of individuals globally place their entire financial reliance on one primary thing: their job. From this sole source flows all their earnings, funding their rent, food, savings, aspirations, family needs, and future plans. Every single aspect of their financial well-being hinges on that single paycheck. Consequently, should that paycheck be delayed, or their company implement layoffs, or their superior become unmanageable, or their entire industry experience a downturn, their entire world can rapidly unravel. This catastrophic outcome is not due to laziness or poor judgment on their part, but solely because of their extreme dependency. They metaphorically placed all their weight on one leg and critically failed to construct a second stable one. This precarious situation, without exaggeration, constitutes financial suicide. Therefore, grasp these fundamental truths. A single stream of income is inherently dangerous. 2 streams offer a degree of survival. 3 provide tangible stability. And 4 or more unlock true financial freedom. The most financially successful individuals across the globe do not merely possess jobs, they strategically construct intricate income systems. Their primary employment provides a consistent monthly income. A valuable freelance skill generates additional weekend income. Carefully chosen investments yield passive income streams. A strategically developed side business offers long-term growth potential. Their specialized knowledge can even be monetized through online courses. Importantly, none of these diverse income sources began as large ventures, but each steadily evolved into a crucial new pillar supporting their overall financial edifice. Consider Clara, a dedicated full-time nurse who sagaciously recognized the precariousness of depending solely on a single paycheck indefinitely. Consequently, she shrewdly utilized her weekends to meticulously establish a modest online store specializing in handmade soaps. Her journey involved a period of slow learning, encountering initial failures, and steadily implementing improvements. After just 1 year, this venture began generating a consistent $300 per month, which she then wisely reinvested into dividend stocks. Subsequently, she developed a concise online course focusing on effective skincare routines, which added another $200 to her monthly income. 2 years down the line, Clara continues her profession as a nurse. However, she now enjoys the security and potential of 3 supplementary streams of income. While she may not yet be considered wealthy, she has unequivocally shed the fear of job loss. She is no longer precariously positioned one step away from financial disaster. Instead, she is stable, confident, and consistently growing. This exemplifies the profound power derived from diligently cultivating multiple income streams. There's no imperative to initiate 5 ventures simultaneously. Begin simply with just one. Honestly ask yourself, what unique skill or knowledge do I possess that I could potentially monetize online? Can I effectively teach a subject, competently write content, creatively design something, skillfully build a product, or expertly fix an issue? Is it possible for me to craft a small, valuable digital product? Could I rent out an asset I already own? Or perhaps, could I forge a partnership with someone who already has an existing product? The digital age, specifically the internet, has made the creation of supplementary income sources more accessible than at any prior point in history. However, you must cease procrastinating with phrases like, "I'll get to it one day," and instead, commit to starting now. For here is an undeniable, stark truth. If your financial sustenance relies on merely one income source, you are perpetually just a single emergency away from potentially plunging into poverty. Conversely, by diligently constructing multiple income pathways, even if slowly and discreetly, you will forge an unshakable financial foundation. Therefore, starting today, embrace this as your personal, unwavering mission. I will never depend on just one income stream. I will actively build. I will relentlessly learn. I will creatively generate, because my future warrants far more than mere survival. It unequivocally deserves true freedom. Rule 11. Become a diligent student of money, or remain its indentured slave forever. Let's confront a somewhat painful yet undeniable truth. You were not inherently born with an innate understanding of how money functions. It was almost certainly not systematically taught to you in school. Most likely your parents did not thoroughly explain its intricacies either. And broader society? It largely just instructed you to work diligently, squirrel away some savings, and passively hope for the best possible outcome. This fundamental oversight is precisely why the majority of people, regardless of their innate intelligence or academic achievements, perpetually remain financially vulnerable. It is not because they lack intellect or are inherently lazy, but rather because they critically failed to truly study and comprehend the intricate mechanisms of how money genuinely operates. And here is a crucial insight that eludes most individuals. Money is far more than mere paper currency. It is a complex subject, an intricate language, a dynamic system, a precise science, and a profound psychology. Just like any other academic discipline, if you neglect to study it, you are destined to fail at it. Parallel to subjects like physics, medicine, or law, if you do not actively study money, you will undoubtedly suffer the consequences. However, the moment you consciously decide to become a diligent student of money, your life will begin an astonishing transformation. Gradually at first, then with sudden clarity, you will start discerning the hidden financial traps. You will begin to truly understand critical monetary decisions. You will expertly recognize recurring patterns. You will cease blaming external circumstances, and instead, you will proactively seize control of your own financial destiny. To illustrate, imagine two individuals of the exact same age, holding identical jobs and earning the same salary. Both take home a consistent $2,000 each month, yet their lives diverge onto entirely different financial trajectories. Person A, unfortunately, never dedicates any time to studying money. Their financial decisions are governed solely by instinct and immediate gratification. They might save a negligible amount, purchase whatever strikes their fancy, blindly trust financial institutions, and actively shy away from reading or continuous learning. They dismiss money as either overly complicated or simply dull. A decade later, despite their consistent income, they possess virtually nothing substantial to demonstrate for their efforts. Person B, by contrast, conscientiously chooses to become a devoted student of money, not within the confines of a formal classroom, but through diligent self-education in the real world. They avidly read books on financial literacy, carefully follow advice from trusted experts, and meticulously take notes. They immerse themselves in understanding taxes, various investment strategies, the crucial role of financial mindset, the psychology behind spending habits, the magic of compounding, the power of leverage, the generation of passive income, the impact of inflation, and even the history of currency. They commit to studying for just 30 minutes each day. A decade later, even still holding the very same job, they are remarkably financially stable. They enjoy profound peace of mind. They possess a multitude of options. They wield genuine financial power. The singular, decisive difference between these two individuals, one committed to learning and the other did not. Now, allow me to pose a direct question. If you can readily dedicate countless hours to aimlessly scrolling through social media feeds, if you can absorb 10 entire seasons of a television series, if you can meticulously research the absolute best smartphone before making a purchase, then why is it so challenging to commit merely 30 minutes each day to the single most pivotal subject that will unequivocally shape your entire future? For here is the unvarnished, undeniable truth. If you choose not to diligently study and understand money, you are, by default, consenting to work for those who do understand it for the remainder of your life. Many people claim, but I'm simply not good with numbers. To this I assert, you don't need to be a mathematical prodigy. You merely need to cultivate a consistent discipline. Others express, but I genuinely don't know where to even begin. My advice is simple. Start by picking up a foundational book on finance. Start by watching an informative video. Start by thoroughly analyzing your own bank statement. Start by fearlessly asking questions. Start by actively listening to wise counsel. For with every focused moment you dedicate to studying money, you are actively safeguarding yourself from a lifetime of potential future regret. Do not passively wait for a devastating crisis to compel you to learn. Do not defer your education until a job loss, an overwhelming medical bill, a failed investment, or a painful financial betrayal forces your hand. Begin learning now so that you possess the knowledge and foresight to protect everything and everyone you cherish when inevitable storms arise. And always remember this indelible truth: life does not exclusively reward the most intellectually brilliant. It consistently rewards the most thoroughly prepared. Therefore, resolve to become an ardent student of wealth, a keen observer of financial patterns, a dedicated apprentice of success, and an unwavering champion of financial freedom. Because a mere single hour spent diligently studying money possesses the power to spare you a decade of avoidable pain and struggle. Rule 12. Your core beliefs about money fundamentally shape your entire life. Either rectify them or remain perpetually trapped. This constitutes the conclusive and arguably most paramount rule. For even if you meticulously adhere to every other guideline, but this foundational one remains fractured, no amount of effort will ever truly yield lasting success. Herein lies the profound truth. Your deeply held beliefs about money, encompassing what you consciously think, viscerally feel, and implicitly assume, are the true architects of your entire financial destiny. This destiny is shaped not by your specific job, nor your academic background, nor mere chance, nor even your inherent intelligence, but solely by the power of your beliefs. This is because your fundamental beliefs dictate your actions and reactions, and your behavior, in turn, inexorably determines your ultimate results. Allow me to illustrate this dynamic in the most candid and authentic manner possible. If throughout your formative years you were consistently exposed to statements such as money is evil, rich people are inherently greedy, money doesn't grow on trees, we're not the type of family who gets rich, or don't discuss money, it's impolite, then these deeply ingrained beliefs will inevitably permeate and settle profoundly into your subconscious mind. And even as you mature into adulthood, you will unknowingly carry these silent, powerful beliefs. They will lead you to inadvertently sabotage your own potential for success. You will subtly reject promising financial opportunities. You may experience feelings of guilt whenever you earn more money. You will consistently undercharge for your valuable services. You will consciously ignore vital investment avenues. You will engage in careless spending habits. You will habitually play small in your financial aspirations. And perhaps most insidiously, you won't even realize why you're exhibiting these self-limiting behaviors, because your deeply embedded subconscious beliefs will prove far more potent than any rational logic. You could possess the sharpest intellect in any room and still find yourself perpetually broke, all because of a single, seemingly innocuous sentence you absorbed at the tender age of 7. That is the astounding, transformative power of belief. Let's consider Daniel, who grew up in a household perpetually grappling with financial struggles. His parents toiled relentlessly, yet consistently found themselves with insufficient resources. They would often declare, "Money isn't everything," despite paradoxically engaging in frequent arguments about it. They also instilled the belief that people like us simply never get rich. Daniel internalized these messages and wholeheartedly believed them. Consequently, even upon reaching adulthood, Daniel never genuinely pursued wealth with earnestness. He harbored a deeply ingrained conviction that financial success was reserved for others, a realm beyond his reach. He perceived money as something dirty, stressful, and distant, something to be avoided rather than embraced. The predictable outcome? He consistently accepted jobs that were significantly below his true potential. He actively shied away from negotiating for raises. He never ventured into investing. He prematurely abandoned promising business ideas. He remained perpetually broke, not due to a lack of opportunity or external factors, but exclusively because of his deeply flawed financial mindset. Now let us turn our attention to Leah. She was nurtured by a single mother who imparted a crucial lesson. Money is a potent form of power. Educate yourself about it. Do not fear it. Do not worship it. Instead, harness and utilize it wisely. Leah absorbed and deeply believed this profound wisdom. Consequently, she dedicated herself to diligent study, fearlessly posed questions, meticulously constructed supplementary income streams, mastered the art of negotiation, enrolled in enriching courses, and cultivated her wealth steadily. While she occasionally encountered setbacks and failures, her unwavering progress persisted because she possessed an unshakable belief in her own capabilities. Today, Leah enjoys not only complete financial freedom, but also an invaluable mental liberation. This remarkable outcome is not because her life journey was inherently easier, but rather because her empowering beliefs proved to be fundamentally stronger and more resilient. So I ask you directly, what are your own deeply held convictions about money? Do you truly believe you are inherently worthy of accumulating wealth? Do you perceive money as a powerful tool for positive impact in the world? Do you genuinely believe you can acquire any necessary knowledge, even if you are beginning later in life? Do you possess the conviction that you can decisively break free from negative financial cycles? Understand this unequivocally. If you fail to fundamentally rectify your core financial beliefs, then no external rule, no meticulously designed system, and no clever strategy will ever truly succeed for you. However, if you genuinely transform your beliefs, even prior to any tangible influx of money, your entire life's trajectory will dramatically shift for the better. Therefore, I urge you to declare these affirmations to yourself right now, with every fiber of your being and with unwavering conviction. I am no longer intimidated by money. I am actively engaged in learning about it. I am purposefully growing my financial capabilities. I am diligently building lasting wealth. I unequivocally deserve financial freedom. I unequivocally deserve profound peace of mind. I will master money each and every day, and I will strategically employ it to protect the cherished people I love. I will decisively break the cycle of past financial struggles. I will not merely repeat the mistakes of the past. I will proudly be the very first in my family lineage to achieve true financial freedom. Because this transformative journey is not merely about accumulating vast riches, it is profoundly about healing old financial wounds. It is about fostering profound personal growth. It is about evolving into the empowered individual your younger self always desperately needed you to become. Rectify your foundational beliefs, and genuine wealth will naturally follow. Conversely, remain ensnared by outdated, limiting beliefs, and you will perpetually repeat the same constrained life experiences. The choice, unequivocally, is yours to make. Make it right now for your future, forever. You have persevered and reached the conclusion of this message. And if you are still with me, it signifies that something profound within you has now awakened. Something authentic. Something remarkably powerful. You have unveiled a fundamental truth, not solely concerning money, but more importantly concerning your own intrinsic self. Because this entire discourse was never simply about accumulating savings or boosting earnings. It was, at its very core, about achieving genuine freedom. It was about acquiring immutable power. It was about finally being able to declare with resolute conviction, I will no longer exist in a state of confusion. I will no longer live in fear. I will never again perish intellectually impoverished, lacking vital knowledge. The external world may have failed to adequately educate you about money. However, today, through your own initiative, you have educated yourself. You have now internalized the profound understanding that wealth is not primarily a matter of mere luck. It is fundamentally a culmination of diligent habits. It is the direct consequence of intentional decisions. It is the courageous act of breaking generations of ingrained silence surrounding money and unequivocally declaring, this cycle of financial struggle ends with me. A new era of prosperity begins with me. So, from this day forward, resolve to do more than simply exist. Commit to actively building. Do not merely spend, intentionally grow. Do not merely survive. Aspire to lead. You do not require external permission. You do not need to await perfect timing. You do not need anyone else to rescue you. You require but one singular thing: the unwavering decision to never again be bankrupt in your mindset. Because when you consciously transform your relationship with money, you simultaneously reshape your relationship with your own future, with the well-being of your family, and with the enduring legacy you will leave behind. And that transformative change begins today. Therefore, if this profound message has resonated deeply within you, if it has illuminated truths you earnestly wish you had known years ago, I implore you, do not keep this transformative knowledge to yourself. Share it widely, re-watch it repeatedly, embody its principles in your daily life, teach its wisdom to others, and most importantly, consider subscribing. Because together, we are cultivating something far grander than mere videos or isolated bits of knowledge. We are actively igniting a revolution, a movement of individuals who were once silenced by their misconceptions about money, but who are now emerging as powerful, peaceful, and utterly unstoppable forces for financial well-being. This, right now, is your designated time, your significant chapter, your precious life. Seize control of it definitively and never relinquish that power again.